Hello there and welcome to episode 10 of the Quidditch Manager weekly update. My name is Joel and I'm the manager of the Newcastle Wands. Welcome to season 30 of Quidditch Manager. I was going to do a video for the end of season 29, which was yesterday. Unfortunately, there were some computer issues, but there was more problems with me personally and how scrambled my brain is at the moment with work. And I just couldn't get into a groove and get the episode out, so just trashed it and start again. We're doing the start of season 30. Season 30 is the new academy, which is very exciting. I'm going to have a quick look at the academy. I don't know too much about it myself, except what I've seen on napkins and scribbles of Andre's that he's shown me over Skype and Facebook. So it's a pretty new experience for me too. Before we get into all that, I'm going to congratulate the Ashwinders for winning Honour League, the Dragonriders who got up in Gold League, which is actually quite... I don't know, like 2 days ago I made a little screenshot on the forums. A little bit of a Majora's Mask Zelda theme. But the Cauldrons, the Dragonriders and the Bishone were all within one win of the top. And the Cauldrons were winning. And I sent him a message going, hey, you've got 1 day left, don't panic, don't choke, don't throw it away. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know I was winning. But I'm playing the second place and third place, so it's going to be a pretty tough day, and what can I do? There's not much I can do except set strategy. So I was, yep, fine. Turns out he lost. Bad luck to the Cauldrons. They came second, the Bishone came third, so that's been quite a good season for the three teams involved, and the Dragonriders and the Cauldrons will go up to Honour League, and I know for a fact that the Cauldrons have never made it to Honour League before, because the first time the Cauldrons played, which is back when I started, he travelled overseas and then lost his internet connection for long enough that his team got deleted. So congratulations on getting to Honour League. The Jersey Jumbucks won silver, which I'm quite happy with. They're my better team, I guess, at the moment. So I've been in charge of the Wands for a long time. And the Jersey Jumbucks were an experiment that I started a few months ago with the influx of a few managers at the time. I wanted to start the team to see what would happen if I just bought stadium seats and then I just bought players. And then after that, I started buying training upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So they're up in Gold League now. They're higher than the Newcastle Wands. They did a flip. So promotion and relegation have flipped over there. So well done to the Jumbucks, the all-Australian team. Just 7 Australian players who have all been trained up together. They'll all retire together, and I'll cry when they all retire at the same time. But until then, they're going really well. The Newcastle Wands, I'm hoping this season is a season they start rebuilding. If not, in a few seasons' time, when we get some new players from the new academy, we're going to be laughing at the top of our mountain of gold. So let's have a look at the academy for starters. I was gonna include the sponsor picks at the start of this, but it was pretty simple. You go Gobblebank if you can, and I went for the other mob that saves your galleons on the broom upgrade. So there wasn't too much decision process there. We'll click on the academy here, which is a little icon that's been here forever, but has never led to anything more than this. So this is the academy. Now, like I said at the top of this, I haven't seen the academy yet. I have seen scribbles and what the academy should be like. We showed a screenshot of this in the last episode, but I couldn't click on stuff. I couldn't touch stuff. I think we could see the stats for the training pitch, and that was about it. The training pitch, so my understanding was that this top level of upgrades here was all things that we already had, but that's grey, so I don't already have that. So I'm going to click on that at some point. But before we get into that, the training pitch here gives plus 5% training to all, and also increases to youth level. Now, my very basic understanding of youth levels is that when you start scouting, when you start looking for recruits, they start at, I don't know, say level 20, and they're 15 years old. So they're not good enough to be in a team yet, but you get them into your squad, you train them up. When they're 18, they'll then be level 30, level 40, whatever level it is as a default, as a basic training increase. These youth levels basically start you at a higher point. So the more upgrades you get, the higher youth level you start at. So those level 20s might instead be level 30s, and then by the time they're 18, they'll then be closer to the 50 mark. When you look at the trade list, you can, I want to say often, you won't often find them, but the 18-year-olds that are mid-50s, they're the ones that you want to snap up, and they're the free agents that everyone fights over, and bidding wars happen. So your 55, 18-year-olds, I guess that's what we're going to hope for with all these youth levels added on top. I'm going to buy that. I'm just going to buy that because That seems good. Plus 5% training for everything. One thing that I would like at some point actually is to be able to have a keeper training or a seeker training that includes alertness. There was another topic on the forum actually about this, but to increase the alertness, there's not really a training regime for it. But I think Andre mentioned that he's going to do customizable training, so that's not so much of an issue. I don't know what this thing is in front here. Does that mean it takes a few days? Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. We've got the brooms, scouting. This is something that I do want to invest in heavily, the scouting. So I'm gonna pay a bunch of money to make sure I get more scouts. Ooh, there's little info tabs as well. Okay, scouting 1. Each % of scouting increases the probability of finding a new youth player at the beginning of the next season. So I wonder if that means if I've missed the boat for this season by being slack. It is match day 1 in theory. Never mind, I'm going to pay it anyway. So we go 15,000 to pay for scouting 1. And I suspect what happens is I think you can get a maximum of 1 player with no investments. Then it's 2 players, then it's 3 players to different levels. So that bar's full. I'm just going to pay the other one here as well. It's 20,000, isn't it? Not 200,000. So we're just gonna fully scout out our club. Oh, this is cool. The active upgrades as well. It shows all the extra percentage. A summary of the accumulated effects of your academy. So my youth level is plus 21. So there you go. That's nice. So that must include these other things here as well. Okay. So previous upgrades have a few additional little... So youth level plus 2 for the obstacle course. Tactics board, plus 1 youth level. The quaffle launcher. The quaffle launcher is like, I would like to see a golf ball launcher, for example. Golf ball launcher, which would be good for... Well, it'd be good for seekers. So you shoot out like the yellow golf balls and they go seeking for them, right? So that's good for, speed, alertness, dexterity, that kind of stuff. Surely like a golf ball launcher pointed at a beater would help them out as well, because they better get good at hitting stuff with their bat. A keeper, well, I don't know if it would fit a keeper, except it would make them more alert. But yeah, a golf ball launcher would be nice. But anyway, that's a tangent. Get back on target. So the quaffle launcher gives a youth level. The weight room also does as well, with the previous strength, stamina, charisma, because everyone likes to look at themselves in the mirror. The rain neutralizer, that looks pretty normal as well. Plus 0 to 5% match performance. Plus 0 to 10% training. So sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. Bit of RNG. RNG doesn't hurt anyone. And the dragon, the YOLO Swagon. This poor guy. this poor guy. I'd love to keep him. We'll see if we can. I've got plenty of cash at the moment to maybe help him out a bit. Just put him up somewhere in the outback. So Academy 2, let's click on that. Academy 2 only costs 5,000. I'll buy it, thanks. I'll get that. I've got the cash for that. Okay. It's still doing... Okay, you've acquired an upgrade. It will be complete in 3 days. So it's not in effect just yet. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. My match performance is plus 2. Youth level plus 21. Popularity... Ooh! Fit Rec. Now that's got to be fitness, right? That's got to be fitness something or other. Interesting. Okay. Does the weight room help fitness? It doesn't, but maybe it will. Never mind. Tangents. Okay, let's have a look at our upgrades on the Academy 2. And there is the 3rd Academy as well. So the Broom Shed. The Broom Shed gives training and match performance. That's nice. Locked. Set up in 1 day requires the 2nd Academy. So I can't even buy these yet anyway. But we'll have a look at what's included. Locker rooms. Extra charisma. I'm not going to say anything about that. Let's just go to the next one. Conference room. Agility and dexterity. For the youth. I'm not going to make a joke about that either. Anyway, so scouting costs are lessened with the conference room. So that's cool, actually. Does that mean that I should have bought them first and then paid for scouting? Oh, well. Whoops. Youth level goes up and youth skills. So our young guys get better agility and better dexterity as well. The restaurant. The restaurant is good for stamina and strength because they eat their red meat, and that's always good. We've got youth levels up as well. And finally, the office. Really helps with the scouting costs, so that's going to be nice as well. I wonder if I've jumped the gun there by just buying that too early. Then whoops. Oh well. And then we've got some speed and balance improvements as well for the office. We've got 100, so let's count up the upkeep as well. 100, 200, 250, 300, 320 on top of my current upkeep. Jeez, it's getting expensive, isn't it? It's getting expensive. I think I already pay about the 2,500 for upkeep, so it's going to be tough. The dragon himself costs heaps. We all know that. And then Academy 3. So I can't buy the Academy 3 until the Academy 2 is made in 3 days' time. And that gives us access to +5 training to everything and popularity, which is nice. The game room. A bit of alertness in the game room. So I like that. That's good. I'll be getting that at some point. Let's see. And that's for the youth. So they'll be really good at playing. I guess alertness is from table tennis, right? Table tennis, I guess billiards if someone like chipped the ball by accident and you just had to catch it. Like, I guess. Must be table tennis. Okay, the swimming room. The swimming room gives heaps of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that all the stats there? There must be. There's 10 of them. Okay. And fitness recovery. So that's cool. The hydrotherapy pool. Doing well to recover your troops. And then finally the spa. Recovery again. Charisma. Match performance is good as well. So yes. Having a quick look at all this, I've got a feeling that buying everything is going to be the strategy. As long as you've got the cash to fit it all in. So that's my initial thought. We'll see what happens after maybe a week or two of playing. I'll read what you guys are saying on the forums as well, because like I said, I haven't checked any of this. I'm just looking at this for the first time as it is. This is going to be a bit of a tangent, but usually like in games with decision points like this, I usually prefer it if rather than buying everything, you've got to buy, like you've got to choose your branches, you've got to go one or the other. So I guess we'll see how this all shakes out after we've played it for a little while. But if it's a matter of just maximising income so that you can get the maximum amount of upgrades and you can continue to pay for it and upkeep it, then I guess the strategy to implement that would be to increase your ticket sales, so maximise ticket sales, maximise the money you get from the sponsors, but then we're always choosing Gobbler Bank. And how else do you get cash? There's a few guys on the forums that make some good cash by buying players and reselling them after a few years with a bit of training. So that might be another way to get some, I guess, some upfront cash injections to pay for the upgrades. So I guess from that perspective, it certainly rewards the managers that are most active in the community. So the ones that are doing the constant training and they're on it every day because they're going to make money eventually, which will pay for the better upgrades, which will get their club into a better place, a better position. So I guess there is a few decision points like that reward the long-term players and make you have to choose what to do with your time. As it is though, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets to a point where you can't afford everything, you've got to choose one or the other. That'll be the cutoff where we start seeing some different branches, different strategies from the managers as well. So while I was talking then, I just realised I've got to check my ticket prices. Because it's the start of the season, you've always got to check your ticket prices. What you want to do here is to try, I'm going to go we'll try 10 for now, but my rule of thumb is that this number here, the ticket price and the estimated attendance, they start with the same number. That's it. That's if it's 9, I guess, metric sickles and you get 90%, that's pretty good. Well, that's kind of the cutoff point. So and as long as it's 100%, you stay at 100%. This is going to plummet. These ticket prices will plummet once my team starts playing this year and the fans start, like they realise how poorly I'm going. They won't come to matches. But for now, we're going to leave it at 11. So that's fine. We'll just have a quick look at everything else as well. All these guys expiring, I'm going to have to renew their contracts. But I mean, you'll see pretty quick that a lot of these guys are really young, and I'm not worrying. Like this guy, Edgar, 35. I'm not really worried too much about him. Alistair here has hit 30. Travis is 20 though, and he's the new guy, so we're going to keep him. So he'll get a contract. Benton, he'll get a contract. Arnold on his way out, we'll play trumpets for him. We'll name the section after him in his honour because he's done very well. He's won us championships. Dixon here is an Australian, but he's on the way out. He's a bit old. Hope Stevens is really young. Like, I think she was 18.0 when I bought her, and I only bought her because she was Australian and really young. I'm hoping at some point she levels up to a respectable, like, that I can do something with her. If not, she cost me 3,000 galleons because she was level 30 when I bought her or something. Why not? I said, why not? Dudley here as well. He's quite young as a keeper. Keepers don't seem to level as quickly though, which is why I want, you know, keeper specific training. He is falling behind already because I got the three guys here at the same time: Travis, Benson, and Dudley, all at pretty similar times, like within a couple of weeks of each other. Probably not even that, within 10 days of each other. And you can see these two are already, you know, mid 60s, and Dudley is in the low 60s, so they're already pulling ahead with the training. So the keepers just can't keep up. They can't keep up because the way the training is set, it doesn't really, like, the training, the things that you train are not their, I guess, their main attributes, which is a shame. It doesn't look like there is individual training just yet, so there's nothing to change there. There's nothing to edit. I think I'll worry about strategy later. Last season I just left it. I'm losing anyway. The strategy's not going to do too much for me. That's another topic, I think, with strategy. I've said this in the past as well. I think attacking is more RNG. So if you're going to lose anyway, then choosing attacking gives you a better chance of maybe fluking a win. And if you're ahead and defending should help you to not lose, I guess is the way to put it. But it's entirely dependent on the players that you've got. And I think there was a time in Honor League where the teams that won all played defensive, and it was because their keeper was really good, but their seeker was also really good. Everyone's chasers, everyone's beaters were almost identical, and the only difference was the keepers and the seekers. If you play defensive, you score less points, which means the game stays in snitch range for longer, but you've got the better seeker that's going to win at the point when the snitch appears. So you just back your seeker. You're pretty much going defensive and you're backing your seeker to win 6 out of 10, I guess, chases. And that's usually enough. If you can win 6 or 7 out of 10 of the close matches in a year, then you'll be at the top. That's the way it panned out in the end. It took me a season or two to realise that I was losing for that very reason, but that was the point where I started training Arnold up in different areas. I started going defensive. I started playing, I guess, the metagame and trying to outthink the strategy of the other managers, and that started helping me to win. That was a while ago now, so everything's changed since then. Bit of a shame. Have a look at the friendlies as well. There's a few guys here that are putting up 0% friendlies. I have nothing to say to them. Nothing at all. I'm putting up a nice high revenue amount here because I need to play low teams so that my team can somehow keep their form when they're just losing. They need to play lower teams and have a better chance of winning just to keep their spirits up. So that's why we do that. I'm gonna cut it there for now because this episode was really just to go over the academy and have a look at it myself. And there's not much more I can do. I can't buy all the upgrades in one big hit, which is a shame. But we've started the academy, the second tier of the academy. In 3 days' time, I'll be able to have a look at the extra results that we'll get from those other upgrades and see how it affects the match performance and how it affects the youth levels. I guess at the start of season 31, that's when we'll start seeing new recruits come in as well, which isn't very exciting right now. It'll be exciting in a month's time, but not right now. And that is one of the things that happens with Quidditch Manager. You make your strategies now, you make your plans now, and then it's very difficult to see if they work without time. You've got to see if it works over time. You've got to see in a week's time if you've beaten all the teams you play. You've got to see in 2 weeks' time if you can keep beating them. You see at the end of the month where your position was on the ladder and if your strategies worked or not. And maybe in 6 months' time you'll see if training a specific way helps your team at some point in the future. So the academy is a slow burn. It's the long-term gain, the long-term investment. I'm going to find a way to keep the dragon. I want to keep the dragon. I wouldn't even be against no, I'm not going to say it. But if there was a way to keep the dragon, or at least have a monument for the dragon, even take out. Oh, okay. This is an idea. This is an idea, right? Okay, hear me out. In cricket, in the past, in cricket grounds, there was always a grassy section It wasn't all seats. There was grass like the hill. And that's, you fit less people on a hill, but there's more atmosphere on a hill. Now, if you could take out a section of the seats in the stadium and replace it with other things, maybe not necessarily to make money, but to make atmosphere or to give it a bit of personality, would you do it? Like you've got what is it, 16? I think it's 6 on the inside and 10 on the outside. So yeah, you've got 16 sections in the stadium. If you could choose, like even to take out 4 sections to put those towers in, for example, or to do VIP settings, so not putting a third tier on, but replacing your seats. If you can replace one section and put a dragon monument in, it costs 50,000. Costs the same as the dragon, but it has no upkeep because it's a statue. Perhaps it increases popularity or morale. Actually, yes, it would definitely increase morale because your players would see it and they would want to play better because they know that back in the past they used to get in trouble from the dragon, so that would increase morale. Would you like? I think that might be an idea to put towards Andre. It'll be one of those ideas that he just cuts off and says it's not a high priority, and I'll say, but it's a great idea. That's how we work. It's a good strategy at the moment. It's a good plan. I've rambled enough. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Quidditch Manager Weekly Update. I think you've seen from this episode today, it's a bit longer, more long-winded. That's kind of a reflection of where I am at the moment mentally. Work is just an absolute, like, it's all over the place. I'm just I've got a list and I just try and get through a thing one at a time, and it's just a lot of stuff to try and think about. This is why, like in Indiana Jones, right? This is another tangent. In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Sean Connery had a diary, right? And he wrote everything in the diary. And Indiana Jones lost it. And Sean Connery was like, well, that's why I write it in the diary, so I don't have to remember it. I can't do his accent. But that's why he had the diary, right? So that, like, I've just got a list, and every day the list gets longer, and I'm just trying to cross things off. And that's kind of why I'm a bit scrambled at the moment, because I'm just trying to get through so much stuff at the moment. And at the end of the day, I guess the best part at the end of the day is like playing on the floor with the baby. I introduced her to poker chips yesterday just because they're colourful, and you put a tower in front of her and she just knocks it over, and she'll pick up the chips and just throw them everywhere. Like it was fantastic fun, and I guess that's kind of my day at the moment. It's a massive pain in the butt during the day, and then in the evening it's a lot more fun and a lot more relaxed, and it's a lot of things are changing at the moment. I'm still trying to prioritise doing the casts like this because, like I said before, this is fun. This is what I like to do, and it's just been a change. It just takes a bit of time, and that's why I'm a bit more scrambled, a bit more long-winded at the moment. And this is not the kind of video that we're going to put on the front of Quidditch Manager and go, watch this and get your friends to play. This is more for me to make this video. There's been other ones that would introduce people to the game, but this one is me to you, having chats about the academy. I'm going to go on the forums after this, actually, and see what you guys said. See how far off base I may have been with my assessments. I'm sure over the next week or two, a couple of the guys will figure out the numbers and figure out what's best, what's optimal, I guess is probably the better way. What is optimal? But I guess we're in a pretty good place right now where with those opinions we could also influence to some extent the way future upgrades might be implemented and the balance of it all. Like I was saying earlier, I prefer it when there's decision points and you've got to choose one thing over the other rather than just getting everything. I guess at the moment the cap is the amount of money you can earn equals how many upgrades you can have, and that's going to be the main decision point. So as a manager you want to increase revenue so you can increase the upgrades, which makes your club better. We'll see how it goes after a season or two. We'll see if it changes too much. I'm guessing quite a few clubs will have as many recruits as they possibly can get, because that's going to make money for the club as well by selling them off. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things to think about in the future, isn't there? Like, my brain is just like branching out into all these different cool things the academy could do. I guess after the academy is implemented and locked in, there's going to be 1,000 injury suspensions. There was that fitness stat as well, which is there for the future. I know that's there for the future because there's nothing that it can really relate to just now. So there's all sorts of exciting possibilities, all sorts of things that could happen one day. And for those of us that have played this game for a long time, well, we're going to keep playing it for a long time, and it's been cool to see how the game has evolved and how it will keep evolving, and I'm excited to see what happens, so I hope you guys are too. We're going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. This has been a bit different than the other ones, so thank you very much for putting up with it, and until next time, hooroo!